Hi everyone, and welcome back to Square Force, the channel where I show you how to fold great origami jet planes like this one that look like planes from the real world and fly well too. So today we're going to be flying the F-5 Panther. This is one of my favorite designs. It's still pretty simple but has a really great look to it. If you take a look from the front, it's got a really good sort of swept wing look where those wingtips are downturned. It's got some curvature to the wings. This one was inspired by the F-14 Tomcat, kind of the quintessential jet of the 70s and 80s in America. It's got a really good look to it. If you've ever seen one head on, it definitely has that kind of curved wing structure there where it looks really aggressive and fast. This one flies really nicely. It's kind of an all-purpose fighter jet design. Let's go ahead and see how this one flies. Then we'll learn how to fold it. Okay, so to fold the F-5 Panther, what you're going to need is a square sheet of paper. Doesn't much matter how big it is, it just has to be a square. You're also going to want a pair of scissors to cut that tail. The very first step here is just to fold your paper in half right down the middle. Alright. Then we're going to take this layer right here and fold it up just so the edge touches that central line that you just made. Just like that. But we're not going to crease it down. We're just going to make a little pinch here for reference. Because then we're going to keep folding till that reference crease, that pinch you just made, intersects with that line. And I always like to just open up my paper here and just use the edges as reference so that this crease is parallel to the first one, and I'm sure about that. Okay, then we're going to open it up and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to take that bottom layer here and fold it over just to match the opposite side. Okay. Then we're now going to fold this layer back down, but we're going to do it not from that crease that we just made, but halfway between our first step and our second step here. So I just estimate somewhere, right around there, and then I go ahead and fold all the way across from my little reference crease. Right about there. And if you want to match that up, make sure it's nice and precise, go ahead and open it up and crease it down. Okay, let's flip it over, do the same thing on this side. So we pull that down roughly halfway between the first and the second creases, match up with our other side. It's most important that these are the same size, not necessarily where that one goes exactly. Okay, so now it's time to start building the wings on this airplane. So we're going to take this paper and fold it in half the other direction. So just pick it up, fold it over, and just in half this way. Crease that down, unfold it, and do the same. So it's going to fall again now right along that middle crease, and now you have a quarter of your paper. Open it up, make sure that's all nice and flat. Then you're going to take this corner right here in the front and you're going to put it right on the intersection of that last fold you just made, right where it intersects the central crease of this paper. We're going to do the same on this side, creasing that down like so. Now these are going to determine the angle of your wings, and I like the wings right at this angle, but if you want them maybe a little bit more streamlined, even faster flyer, just move these points up a little bit along that central line. But this is where I like to put them. Now We're going to take this and fold it again. We're going to take this edge and have that fall right along that central line. So just like so. Okay. And repeat on this side. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to start to fold this together. And we're going to take this central crease and fold it over. And then take this one to the side, fold it up, just like that. And then take this last one and fold it down so it makes a nice wing. Let's do that on the other side. Fold it up along that first line and down on the second. So now if you're looking at this from the back, you should have sort of a W shape there with the wings to the outside. Now these wings, they're too big. So what I'm going to do is fold this edge here so it falls along that central, or right where that wing intersects with the body. So this line right here. I'm folding that over, just resting that right along that edge. Crease that down. And then for maximum streamlining of this plane, I'm actually going to tuck this fold underneath this one. So I just open that back up a little bit, pop it open, push it back down, and crease it back. So now those layers are kind of trapped under the front of the plane. Helps with the aerodynamics just a little bit, but it's not super important if you don't want to do that step. Fold those over again. And of course we're going to repeat on the other side here. And we're going to take this edge right here, fold it right to where the wing starts there. And then, just for maximum efficiency, open these layers up, fold the wing in, and then crease the nose again. But again, that one's more optional. I always pause here just to check that my wings are the same size. Very important when you're flying a paper airplane that the wings are the same size so it doesn't turn one direction or another. Okay, so that solves our wings. Now we need to add a tail. So I'm going to open these layers back up. So I'm just folding it in half now. I'm going to make a cut from this top edge here down past this line and end on this line here. And it doesn't really matter where that cut goes, just as long as the tail looks good to you. I like to put it right about there on a nice angle so our tail's a little swept. And then I'm going to pull that up as I once again fold these wings back together. So now I've got a tail that sticks up above the back of my plane. All right. One more little helpful tip for some aerodynamics here. To keep these layers sealed together, it's always a good idea just to keep your plane nice and locked together so it doesn't expand in flight. If I pull my wing up here, I've got a little triangle of paper left now from where I cut. I like to just fold up from where that wing starts down to the bottom edge. Just fold that over on itself, and you can leave it there, or you can tuck it back inside the plane by reversing that fold, just to keep those layers together a little bit more. I'm going to do that here as well. Just fold it up right along the bottom edge of the wing, down to the bottom of the plane, and then reverse it over, just so things are held together. Okay, we're almost done here, but we need a nose. So in order to do the nose of this plane, I hold the layers like this, and then I just push down on the nose of the plane, and then straight through the bottom, I just reverse that down. And it doesn't really matter what angle this goes at, but I like to pull it back a bit, just to about there. So this triangle roughly intersects with this piece here. Little reference point there, so you get a similar angle. but not super essential that this goes in any particular direction. Now I'm going to fold this little triangle of paper over and then squash fold it by opening up these layers, pulling them apart, and pushing them back down so I get a little diamond right there under the nose. Then I'm going to fold this triangle that's left on the front. I'm going to fold it in on itself so it goes back into the layers there, and when I fold it back up, it's hidden away inside itself. Now I'm going to pull these layers down so they're now underneath the plane, and I'm just going to fold these corners back so that edge falls roughly right along the bottom edge of the plane. So I'm just folding it in just like that, and I do the same on the other side, like so. Just fold that corner over on itself. Okay, now all I have to do is tuck these parts back into the plane. So I'm going to fold that entire thing back up right along the nose, just like that, and then tuck it inside so it all holds together. This one can get a little tricky if you're using a smaller sheet of paper, but if you're using a larger sheet, it works really well. So that's holding that nose together. Now if I open up my wings, you can see the plane is pretty much done. Everything looks pretty good, but we still need to add a little bit of pizzazz to this plane, jazz it up a little bit by making sure that our wings are nice and curved. So what I do for that one is I just open them up all the way, stand those wings straight up, and then I just bend them down a little bit. And there's no real right or wrong way to do this. You can put as much curve on those wings as you want, but you just roll it gently. So you're not putting any creases, but you're just encouraging it to be a little bit curved. And I do the same on this side, where I'll just massage that a little bit so it starts to curve all throughout the wing, starting from right about here down to the back. Now, if I open this up, you'll see my wings have a very distinct curve to them. You want to make them as similar to each other as you can. So don't make one dramatically curved and the other one not at all. But right about there should be pretty good. And I follow that same strategy with the tail. I just make sure I gently curve this section here, just like that. That should work pretty well. Then my last very optional step here that I like to do is to make it look like this plane has a bit of an engine to it. So I actually hold my bottom layers together there, and I just push down on the top gently till I can make a little crease, just like so, flattening that down a bit right in the back. And now if I look from the top, bring that back up again, it almost looks like I've got a nice jet engine there in the back that's starting to widen out a little bit. If I look from the rear, I have a little hollow space that I can imagine is sort of an afterburner type situation. Okay, so that is the F-5 Panther. This one you may need to do a little bit of up elevator in the back. That's fairly common, but it shouldn't need dramatic adjustments. Once you get the curve on these wings right and it looks really nice, it should fly very well too. It's a nice reliable design. Once you get everything adjusted, it tends to stay in place. Everything's nicely locked together, and you can throw that anywhere you want. Okay, thanks everyone. If you enjoyed watching this video, I would love to see you subscribe to this channel or just drop a like. We'll be back with more planes in the future. Stay tuned because we've got a lot of really fun designs coming. So we'll see you back here next time.